We're here. Look at the... Ooh. My ID? Yes. Ooh. This one?
Okay.
You want the steps for the scenic route?
Fine. Alright.
I didn't go to the gym yesterday.
Thank you. You said you didn't go yesterday?
No. Get my right. I gotta get my steps in. Thank y'all. Thank you. This is so nice.
Okay.
It's giving.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Instagram edits comes out, I think like the end of this month. Yeah, it's coming out the end of this month. That is their direct competitor to CapCut. And then Canva AI, I want y'all to go home and pull up all of the new Canva tools coming out. Like they do Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And when I learned, right, exactly. When I learned, I said, oh my goodness, this is going to cut my time literally in half, and I can do stuff at work. So yeah, tons of new stuff coming out.
Yeah, I was gonna say Canva. They're turning more data focused, and they're trying to make data and coding pretty. So if you want to make it look good or make presentations good, motion graphics, they make that look good. So yeah, definitely check that video out with Canva.
I was actually on Instagram last night because I'm an Instagram girly too. And I saw that on Canva. I love me some Canva. You can actually take an image and make it a video now. Like I saw this tuba lipstick and it was just a picture and it like went all around it. So you can take something, a static picture, and now make a video because obviously video outperforms static posts in most cases. As far as trends, I see everybody moving away from the super polished videos. Like, you don't have to have a beat face, you don't have to get dressed, you can literally roll out of bed, you can have something to say, then say it. People want to see that authenticity, people want to see the real you, and most importantly, they want you to be relatable. So, if you seem fake or like what you're doing is unattainable, people are moving away from that.
Yes.
Yes.
I hear TikTok, I hear Instagram, and LinkedIn and what have you, and being all things Black, has anybody tried fan base?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on fan base?
I don't like it. And here's why. One, it's like they're trying to be like TikTok, but again, the user experience is not good. I've been on it, and it's like, it feels like everything is slanted to the right. Like, it's not an easy use. Like, if I'm a user, I'm trying to understand how this works. Why is it taking it so long to download? Like, the functionality isn't as crisp compared to all the other platforms. So, like, if the user experience, and that's one thing Instagram and a lot of platforms invested in early, if you have a good user experience, you will be successful, it doesn't matter. So if they can, fan base can do
Okay, you guys ready?
On the count of three, say like reaction.
No, seriously.
You're good. You can record them.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Lights, camera, action!
So cute.
That are able to authentically tell the stories. For instance, you have a podcast, so you can be reaching out to brands for brand partnerships, and also, what is it called when they have the item on display? Product placement. So if I listen to a lot of, I'm a woman of faith, I believe in God, and so I listen to a lot of different Christian podcasts essentially, and you'll see a lot of BetterHelp ads that are integrated into it authentically. So not even an ad through YouTube, but instead BetterHelp did a brand partnership with them. So mid podcast, it'll be like, if you have different things with like mental health, and sign up. So look for these brands that authentically go along with the story. Because just as Tiana said, like if you are just grabbing for the dollar, grabbing for the dollar, grabbing for the dollar. Like the other day, I got a potential brand partnership with a lingerie company. Yeah, girl ain't posting in no lingerie online. They're gonna be like, you're standing for X, Y, and Z, and all of a sudden, trust me, I love a good lingerie. But like, it wouldn't align with my brand. And so if people saw that, they'd be like, that's a money grab. That's not authentic to that person's brand. So you do not have to change who you are. Authentically find the things. Okay, I see a lot of us ladies in here who are wearing makeup. What are the makeup products you're authentically already using? What about makeup wipes? What about paper towels that you might need to clean up the desk that you're using? Naturally integrate that into your content. You're wearing your different outfits. So, okay, I use something, maybe even like soul covers or different things. Anything that you would naturally use, start integrating that into your content already. And brands, you'll be able to pitch brands that way to show like, hey, this authentically already fits into my content.
Yeah, you just to add to that too, like when I'm sourcing for influencers, I'm looking to see, like, do you actually use this product or something similar to this? And I can add in my rationale to the brand about why this person's a really good fit and things like that. So even your point about like Unilever investing so much money into influencer marketing now, I think that there's going to be a big rise in influencers now, you know, being more authentic with their content, actually integrating different brands and stuff. Like, for example, Shea Moisture, they're under Unilever, and you know, we also had a big Shakecation in Jamaica, and how awesome it was to see, you know, Black women all together having a great time creating content on a brand trip. You know, we're used to seeing places like Tarte, obviously, you know, that they have their controversies and their, you know, issues of diversity and inclusivity. So yeah, I think a rise of just really doing those authentic product placements in your content. Even look, Ashton Hall, the Saratoga Springs guy. I was talking to our agency clients, and they are actually managing Saratoga Springs, and I asked them, I'm like, was that an ad or was that authentic? They said it was all authentic, like he organically loves their product. I thought it was a bit of an ad too, but they're trying to figure out how to now capitalize on that and how to now, you know, continue doing more partnerships like that too. So yeah, definitely, you know, shoot that shot and kind of figure it out that way. I think there's some hands up here. Do you have a question?
Yeah, okay.
I definitely think it's good to diversify across the different platforms. I know we saw with TikTok with that, you know, 12-hour, I guess, outage and whatnot that happened, but at the time, we didn't know it was going to be a 12-hour long outage. It was going to be so short. So I was seeing a lot of, like, you know, my favorite creators and stuff. I know, I don't know if you guys follow Machiavelli. She's one of those, you know, TikTok yappers and, you know, pop culture commentary and social stuff like that. But, you know, she was really pushing her YouTube channel, and to a point where she has now like 20,000 subscribers in just a few weeks of her really launching her channel and posting content daily of like Real Housewives recaps and, you know, what's going on TikTok and things like that. So yeah, I definitely think it's important to diversify because you never know when the app's going to shut down. Look at Vine. You know, Vine was my entire life in high school, and now that's like ceased to exist. Like the new Gen Zs now, they have no idea how great those 6 seconds were on Vine and stuff. So yeah, definitely good to have your different platforms everywhere, but just be strategic with it because the Instagram comments can be much different than, you know, the TikTok comments. TikTok's more lighthearted, you know, it's more kiki, but Instagram can get, you know, a little crazy real quick. For sure. So just knowing how to, you know, tailor your content for the different platforms, different audiences you might have.
Yeah, for sure. So right now, Mark Zuckerberg is on trial with the FTC, and he's basically arguing that he does not have a monopoly in the social media space. And so what's on the line is that he may be forced to sell Instagram and WhatsApp. And if you think about it, if Instagram and WhatsApp are sold, how are the platforms going to change, right? Like, we don't know whose hands it's going to be in. We don't know what their algorithm may be. We don't know what it will look like if it will shutter. So I always tell the influencers that I work with, it is so important to realize and remember that we do not own these platforms. Like you said, the platform could shut down tomorrow. You may have 1 million followers on Instagram. A lot of people are tripping on TikTok because they had millions of people and they had it. Buying phones. They were buying phones that had TikTok already on it in other countries. So my point is that you have to be really careful about dedicating so much time and energy just to one platform. The other side of that is you want to be very mindful of
burnout and not being every single place, right? But maybe choosing a few places that you can show up authentically, so that you are able to build your audience and keep your audience across different places.
I would also recommend building your email list.
Yes.
And so your email list and your blogs. A lot of people feel like blogs are so like 2000, but they're still right now. A lot of times with these different partnerships, even with Pinterest as well, and YouTube, the reason why blogs, Pinterest, YouTube are great platforms to be on is because of the SEO. So there is a longer lifespan when it comes to these different platforms. So brands are more likely to put in more money into these platforms because it's not just a quick 24 hours in your story or TikTok where it goes viral very quickly and then it kind of moves. TikTok does a little bit better when it comes to SEO, but like Instagram is still So brands, a lot of time, you can even negotiate more money because you're saying, I have these many visitors that come to my website. I have this productivity and the value of integrating influencers into your strategy will all be on there. So, but thank you guys so much, and we're here for questions.
That right now. I'm like, I didn't think I was hungry, but now I want get in content.
I didn't read one thing. That was it. I was like, one more thing.
I'm weak. Oh yeah, yeah.
You said what?
I'm like, yeah, technically.
RSVP if you're interested in attending tonight. And also that QR code is going to be helpful because for those who might be looking for what is going on in the schedule, that QR code is a lifesaver, all right? Also, I would like to announce, if you haven't seen an exhibition hall, please go and support Sweat and Fit and Black Girls Vitamins. They are there. Please support our partners. And also, I want you to make sure if you haven't got your pictures done, get them done. The photo booths are there, the photographers are there, and they're ready and to take your beautiful pictures.
That's why I'm like, okay, she was in my first one. That's why she looked familiar. I'm like, okay. Nah, see, this is why I don't be wanting to work for events. I just want to. Y'all, first half of the conference, definitely 10 out of 10. Like, I'm so glad we came with great energy. I've already met somebody from Richmond. She went to Norfolk State too. That's so cool. But y'all know I didn't go to Norfolk, but she was a 757 girly. And also, look at Tin. We got to see Tin. She did so great in her workshop. You welcome, boo. And now we're about to go eat. And this is, I gotta show y'all this place. And this place is so nice. Like, the people work here, yeah. And look at Ari. She looks so good. Period. A side of fries, as always, because y'all know I eat like a child. And then some pasta. Ari got a good salad. Oh yeah.
There we go.
Yep. Women market us.
It's true.
Tiff was like, come take a picture of me. I was like, girl, I look crazy. I said, my shit wrinkly. I said, I thought I earned it just for it to not be earned. Ooh.
Well, you even thought it?
But it's getting heavy. It's getting heavy back there. Hey.
You better hurry up and make it to the dance party.
I know. Back this. Yeah. It's working. That's their stuff. It might be.
Oh yeah, they work fast.
They're doing a little stuff. She was like, it's more so for you. Like, let that person be nice. Like,
yeah.
Let that person be, you know, kind to you. That was a nice place.
little day trip, little 2-day trip.
No facts. This is a nice 2-day trip. I don't even know where I'm going. I think we're going this way. See, I'm figuring out my sense of direction as I go because. So much fun right there. Hi. Y'all, we get escorted everywhere. I feel like a celebrity up in this piece. Jesus. Escort me. Yes, we are. Oh my gosh. Hi. Hi.
How are you?
This is the one. Yeah, this is me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Tiana Ruffin. I'm the founder of Mission Communications. We are a strategic public relations and personal branding agency. Words are joyful, purposeful, and culturally expressive.
Follow up on that one. Hello everyone, my name is Moshe Gibbs, and I'm different from these ladies. I am not a brand marketer. I'm the marketer that brand marketers don't like. I'm the growth marketer, and I've been in marketing for 15 years. I started my career in advertising, and I switched over to tech in 2015. So I've been in the tech world, and right now I'm at Microsoft. I work as a senior global partner marketing manager on some of Microsoft strategic partnerships. I will say my 3 words are bold, authentic, and intentional. I love a good challenge. I show up and I'm always myself, and I am very intentional with every action that I do. So those are my 3 words.
How can your brand help you build influence and strong internal relationships?
So my personal brand, I take it very seriously. My goal starting off in corporate was like, I'm gonna be the best at everything. If my name is tagged on there, it's gonna be, everyone's gonna know it was me. I will say one of the great things about things, taking those 3 words, they're not just words I came up with, right? Those are things that I definitely live by. And there's something that I get picked out of the hat very frequently because I show up in that way very consistently.
So I guess the next part of the question is, how do you leverage your personal brand internally in your own company?
Leveraging that to get promotion. I got promotion within a year. I've gotten consistent bonuses because of that. So if you think of financial, I'm leveraging that because they know that I'm going to get the job done. On top of that, I'm reliable, right? So I just was recently chosen to help lead a very highly visible with some of our top executives because Moshe, let's put low on it because we know that she's going to get the job done, number one, but she's also someone that can handle the visibility and ambiguity. Working in a lot of corporations, I'm not going to speak on anything specific. Ambiguity is things kind of you live by, and if you showing up and being able, like I said, bold, I like to challenge. Those things kind of, I get in there and I dig in and I figure it out. And it sucks, but a lot of corporations, you have to be that way. You have to be able to figure things out and things on your
other social platforms, and what advice would you give to the audience on how to stay authentic?
I'm gonna try to
one at a time.
So I would say with how I define personal brand is with how people experience you. So with your values, your skill set, like people kind of to piggyback off of Mo, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And that's also with how people perceive you, right? But so when you have your personal brand, you want to take ownership of that, like kind of control as much as you can of that perception. Just for me, like I grew up very shy and reserved. And so a few years ago, it was a friend that just really deposited something in me and stuck with me. And she told me I needed to be just as comfortable in the foreground as I was in the background. And I played the background really well. So I took on that challenge, and LinkedIn was an easier way for me to do it. I'm very comfortable with online. I met my husband on MySpace, so so online's very so online's like really like easier for me, and so I just did it in a way that was comfortable for me, and then also that kind of helped foster confidence once I was getting responses from people and like, oh, like what I'm saying is impactful and has value, and I was able to do it as myself in an authentic way, showcase things that I do in the community. Since I'm in marketing, I'm going to showcase myself as a thought leader. So yeah, it's just been, LinkedIn has been a great tool like for networking and also attracting opportunities. That's how I've been able to get some speaking opportunities. That's how I've been able to go to like some nice conferences complimentary just for how I show up like with my content like on LinkedIn.
I need y'all to be more specific. Like when I say, like, I want to understand, like, how does your LinkedIn, is it your voice? Is it the same on your LinkedIn? You know, do you show pictures of your family?
Yeah, so I'll say
work. How do you connect the personal?
Sure, yeah, so with me specifically, when I started being more active, well, first I will say I worked with a LinkedIn coach. Shout out to Portia O'Bang, she's amazing. So she'll help me with optimizing my profile. Really with how you leverage like your headline, like those are all like keywords essentially, so things that you want to be searched for. Don't just use that title that LinkedIn gives you because it's just
what is yours?
Oh, mine's kind of long, but mine is
to know that I am Andy Cohen right now. Okay,
mine has a few things in it, so it does have brand marketing, communications, rockstar. I also
rockstar.
Yes, I also include content creator. I'm passionate about diversity, so I have that. I don't remember exactly how I have it worded, but I have those things in there because it's important to capture those keywords, like how you want people to find you. And then also just with your cover image, make sure you're using that. Like that's free real estate. You know.
I met Brittany on LinkedIn around the same time. I think we were kind of going through this transition, and her LinkedIn definitely inspired me. And to be specific, it is more about. And going back to what I'm saying, being visible on purpose, not being afraid to tout like your wins and your expertise. So I won 40 under 40 last year, and I don't like that whole recognition. But so when I put it on there, first I would like keep my comments off, and so I wouldn't have to like get all of this. And then someone told me, you need to turn those comments on and take it. So I was like, okay, don't shrink yourself, right? So I will say thanks to Brittany because she definitely inspired me to be more visible on social. But then since then, it's kind of blown up, and now I get a lot of people asking me for, hey, you know someone at Microsoft, can you give me this job? But I will say social has been, especially LinkedIn, like choose your platform where you feel like you can connect most with the audience and where you can show up, and I feel like LinkedIn has been that platform for me.
Yeah, I will say I've also had a lot of success on LinkedIn as well. One of the clients who's been with us for 3 years now is in a different state, in a different city, and definitely came to us through a LinkedIn video. So I definitely want to continue to do more of those and have seen a lot of success with LinkedIn. So if you have never done LinkedIn videos, definitely encourage you to do that. I definitely do a lot more like case studies and videos and tips on public relations or media, things like that. But so I'm not as personal on LinkedIn except for messages. So I'll send messages to people, comments. So that's where more of my personality shows up in that way. But as far as Instagram, I am a lot more relaxed, I think, on Instagram. So my squares tend to be just kind of things that I'm doing related to business. But a lot of times on my stories, I will share something that's happening during the day or how I'm feeling, or, like the other day this week, I had to get a hairstyle at the last minute. So I talked about that in my story. So that's where it's a little bit more personal for me.
Say I do show some like personal things on LinkedIn. I definitely let my hair run down on Instagram and TikTok. But I'll share things like with my family. I do try to find like the intersection of showing like as a working mom. Excuse me. For like example, if it was like a field trip, I'll post a picture about a field trip, but then I'll tap into like leveraging like the PTO. Like I remember someone who's kind of bragging all the time they had, and I'm like, why are you being a PTO hoarder? So I had like the hook, like, don't be a PTO hoarder, and it's just about, especially if you have kids, like making that time. So it'll be a way to show something personally, but then still tie to something that could be relatable to.
And you don't have a reference point, and so it's difficult, I think, to get that authenticity if you're not truly sure, why you're even going after certain things, or a certain goal, or a certain look, or a certain career path even. I think a lot of it is introspection. And one of the things that I was thinking about is a lot of people use the word authenticity for personal branding, which I do think is important, but I also think to get to that authenticity, it's important to have integrity, meaning that all the pieces of you are coming together to be holistic and showing up as you. So then that way, yes, your personal brand is building, but you're also able to take it into every space that you enter. So it doesn't matter if you're with friends, if you're with family, or if you're in a professional setting, those core values and that core person of you, that is really your brand. And I think continuing to show up in that way sets the stage for when you're not in the room, it still carries with you.
I love that. I think with my team, I would challenge my team not to use buzzwords when we're looking at developing brands. And the word authentic was one word I never would allow on any brand sheet, because what does that mean? Vulnerable. What does that mean? Like, what's authentic? Like, for me, humor. That's where I come from. That's where, like, I shine. So I think it comes down to also when you're thinking about your essence, go down another level. Like we like to say, like, squeeze out the lemon to get the juice, right? And really, really challenge yourself and think about, like, who are you without all of the bells, the whistles, and everything. When I, 20-something years ago, started my job, my mom took me to Petite Sophisticate to get a pinstripe suit, because that's what we were supposed to wear. I was so miserable in that pinstripe suit and everything. I had stockings on. Just everything that was not me. Already in a field that was for my mother and my father, and trying to live up to their expectations of me, and that kind of led me down a path of figuring out, like, okay, who am I really, right? And I do think our personal brand is still professional, however we show up. You know what I mean? Like, however we show up, it's still professional. So I really feel like when you start to feel uncomfortable, challenge yourself. Because you might not really be true to yourself. Look at me like Oprah. All right, no, you have anything you want to add to this?
So I will say, you asked a question about Instagram and like different platforms, and I'm pretty active on Instagram. And I'm a caretaker. I have a brother who has special needs, and I don't put a lot about him on there on different platforms, even though everyone says that because he's so funny that I should start. He told me he didn't want to do it. He said, wait a while, because he's in a group home. He said, wait till I get my own house. But I share a lot of that. I love coffee, so I started a page that's connected to my page around like going to when I travel, different coffee shops, and people know me for just kind of being funny. And I show up like this at work too. Like, this is who you get. Like, it doesn't even matter. I talk the same. And I didn't used to be that way when I first started work. I would like shrink myself and kind of sit back. And one of the things, I actually had a gentleman, when I got my first big promotion, going into people management, I had one of the top guys, he's like, Mo, I want to talk to you. So he takes me in a room. Even the name Mo was, I didn't want people calling me Mo. I wanted them to say Moshe, but they didn't know how to pronounce my name, so I let them call me Mo. But he was like, okay. And he did this little diagram, and he was like, you need to speak up in the meetings. And he was a white guy. He was not a black guy. He was not a black woman. He was like, I want you to speak up. I'm in a meeting with a whole bunch of hymns, and I'm kind of intimidated. And he's like, you know your stuff. Just prepare 10 minutes before the meeting and show up and speak up. And I'm going to call on you in meetings. I want you to share what you're doing. And he kind of gave me the confidence to be more vocal and to show up more as myself. And he took time out every month just to sit down and like talk to me about the things that were going on, like the campaigns that I was doing. Because a lot of times people, I work with salespeople, so they don't really look at the campaigns. They look at, what are you driving? What are you driving? And so he wanted to know the ins and outs of it. And that like inspired me to be more vocal and to just kind of be who I am and accept it or don't. And that's kind of where, that's something I want to share too. So.
I love it. I would love to know more about your brother as well. I think I had a CEO tell me once, because I'm actually pretty introverted, my real self, like I'm actually pretty shy and quiet, and he said to me, he was like, because I don't speak up as much in meetings, I'm very deliberate with this, is how I am, just like I like to overthink. But he said to me one day, he said, you will never be the loudest person in the room, because it's just not me. So if you have something to say, you say it, because we'll listen. So it's not about, I have to say something, or I have to say something, that's not you, that's okay. You know, but it's like having the space and being comfortable, like taking the space for, you know, that you take up. Now I want to ask y'all, we had this conversation on our pre-com. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So it was two good things, y'all said. I wanted to, when you were talking about authenticity, one of the like best compliments I felt I got was how you basically like they thought I was how I present myself online, like I delivered on that in person. So I think that's important. And then like on the speaking up thing, I had a mentor who, cause I'm like you as far as I like to be thoughtful before I'm saying, but I do speak up more now. But I had a mentor who told me like, especially since I was in an environment like predominantly white people, to speak up because they can make assumptions from your silence, like they could think you're not intelligent because you're not speaking up. So I kept that with me, so I think it's important to, when you have something thoughtful and important to say, speak up and say it.
Yeah. And I think along the lines of speaking up, sometimes we don't feel like we need code switching or having to pronounce words a certain way or fit in the blend in a certain way. And like I was saying with you about our pre-panel conversation about who do we think do well with their personal brand, both publicly in their profession and like what we see on socials. And I know I had mentioned, Congresswoman Jazz. She's one of my favorites, right? As far as being authentic to who she is, you know, and how she delivers her message, how she shows up as a Black woman. I wish I had her when I was in my early 20s starting in a career where I could, you can say exactly what you want to say and people will know exactly what you mean and the way that you feel comfortable saying it. So just opening it to the panel, is there any particular woman that you can just embrace their personal brand and how they relate and leverage it in their professional life?
Yeah, so I actually have three for different reasons. So the first person that comes to mind is Lovia Johnny Jones, and she has written the book Professional Troublemaker. She has I'm Judging You. There's several different books. Yes, I'm saying Clyde is that. But yeah, I really love her because to me, it definitely seems like, even though I don't know her personally, I feel like the way that she shows up online is probably the way she is with her family and her friends. She is somebody who is very bold. She comes across very bold, very confident, very self-assured, and she doesn't have any problem speaking exactly what she means, but she also knows how to say it in a way that's not, necessarily abrasive, but it's very intentional. And so I really like the way that she delivers, and she does not mince words at all. So I really appreciate her for being someone who speaks up and speaks out and is not afraid to do so. So that's definitely something that I admire. The second person is Caroline Wanga. And some of y'all may know her. She is the CEO of Essence. And she started out as the Chief Diversity Officer for Target. And I actually just, on the way here, I was listening to an interview from her of her journey. And she said that when she was a Chief Diversity Officer at Target, she said, how can I be in a profession that's encouraging people to show up as who they are, and I don't really know if I'm doing that all the way. And so that was when she started wearing her hair differently and doing lipstick differently. And even if you see her today, she looks like a walking museum exhibit. Like the things that she wears is amazing. But she's in these corporate spaces, and she's in with these big brands and international brands, and she is like, I don't care where I am, personal, professional, whatever, this is what you're going to get. She doesn't have a stylist, she does it herself, and she owns everything that she is. And then the last person I would say is Tabitha Brown, because she has, I don't know anybody else whose literal life has built an international brand almost from scratch. Like, you know, I don't know what other, I know she was an actress before, but, you know, just all the things that she was able to do from posting videos of cooking on social media to now, you know, having an international brand. So that is definitely someone else that I think models just being herself and the rewards and all that.
I just have to, and I met Tabitha Brown in person, and she was amazing. I would like to add Melissa Fredericks, aka Mrs. Cam on stage. I'm like, she's my best friend. She just doesn't know it. So I've been following like her and her husband for a while. So just even before she was even comfortable like speaking on video, like I was watching when her voice would crack, or when she couldn't even do a video like without her husband. She comes off very authentic. I like how she educates, and it's like with watching like a girlfriend, you know, it's like, oh girl, like this is, you way too pretty to be wearing ugly makeup. Like this is how you do makeup, this is the earrings, this is when I'm cooking in the kitchen. So I think what she just comes across like a homegirl, you know, and she's been very just kind of transparent with her journey, but then still without like overexposing herself. So she's really like helped me like with my confidence, and I like have met her like in person too, but that was like a few years ago. I love like the glow up, and I think she has a great personal brand.
I'm loving the energy. You see the passion when they're talking. I love them people. I mean, and that's like what we want for ourselves. Like that's how we want people to describe us. Whether you like us or agree with us, like you are. This is who she is, you know. Mo, anything you want to add as far as?
I think they took everyone, but there's so many people. But I was going to say Obama, but she also coming out with a TV show that I'm excited about with Jimmy Fallon. It's called I think it's on brand actually, and it's going to be a show for marketers. So it's going to test stuff. Her, I will say, I love me some Kiki Palmer. I think she's so she is. She's always been that way. I feel like we grew up together. Pretty much it. In the business world, and when we're talking brands, people who show up as they are, I'm a big fan. I hate to say it, but like I'm a big fan of our CEO. Sorry, I know I'm in a different house here, but Satya Nadella, I'm a major fan of him. If you ever YouTube him and his cadence and when he speaks and just the things that he aligns with, major fan of how he comes across. And then Queen Latifah, I'm sorry, the Queen, she's always been the Queen in every format, in the jeans and the dress, the hair, the silk press, everything about her. She shows up, she's very consistent, she's always been who she is, she hasn't changed for anyone, and she, you know, I love this.
Sounds like all these ladies have something in common, right? For work looks, whether, you know, you're relaxing your hair, you keep your hair, you know, natural, you're wearing bright, beautiful colors, or how we might articulate, or if you're not smiling enough, how do we maintain who we are in a professional setting without losing or without feeling like we need to you know where I'm going with this, you know, kind of like have to simply, or make others feel comfortable if that's not who we are. Because honestly, if that's, it's all up to you how you want to show up. But how do you navigate a world where sometimes when you show up, it's just not accepted, not for any other reason, for anything else, but because of how we perform.
I know for me, I had to stop worrying about what people thought, because it took a while to even get locked, so these are pandemic locks. So I started during the pandemic when I wasn't in the office as often, because I did kind of subscribe, like, as a Black woman, I need to have certain hair, like being in a corporate environment. But yeah, so I guess that kind of helped me ease into it. And then I found more of a voice because there has been certain things that come up with certain comments, and I have to like, okay, I'm not comfortable discussing my hair with you, because I did have a bad situation at an old job where I wasn't as verbal and actually white woman touched my hair. Yeah. She lived to see another day. Yeah, so I think it's just, we have to kind of, I guess, not care as much, like to kind of help with that authenticity, because I was allowing what I perceived other people thought or assumptions. That was kind of weighing me down from fully being expressive to how I was showing.
She's doing a similar. No, that's not over here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Slipped out my hand.
That is a great question. I would go back to alignment and energy. You know, it's all about figuring out where you want to go in your career path and whether that next thing that you're taking on is going to either hurt or help. I have accepted a lot of things just because it was convenient for me or it was scarcity, and I'm no longer doing that, and I'm happy to say that. And if I had to give someone advice, it's making sure that whatever you decide to tackle and add onto your plate and take on, no matter what it is, that it's aligned with what you plan to do and where you plan to grow and where you want to go in your career.
I would say being confident in what you want to do, knowing what you want to do. Even if you aren't sure, there's different labels now for everything. At least being confident in your skills. And if it amuses you, or even if it scares you a little bit, I would say do it. You don't want to have the question of, dang, what if I did choose that? And what if this would take me? Even if it turns out to be bad, it's a part of your story that you can be able to tell later on in the future.
Yeah, no, I think both of those things are really good. I think alignment is really important, both personally and professionally. Does this idea or does this role align with who I am and where I want to go? Because the bigger picture is also really important. You have to be strategic about the decisions that you make. So making sure it aligns with who you are, and yeah, like being confident with what your decision that you made. So.
Okay, I love it. So let's get into some skills and some development. As a person who has a lot of degrees and a lot of certifications, I have over 20 certifications. Do you all think degrees and certifications still matter, or is it all about the receipts and the experience?
Yeah, she doing good.
Very good question. I would say, just to sum it up in a nutshell, it's really great to have the degrees and the certifications, but we all know it's really about results at the end of the day. So if you're not making those results, whatever that metric is that company that hired you on to figure it out, you can't wave your degree in their face when they're asking why you're not hitting your metrics. So at the end of the day, like if you're not having that impact, if you're not reaching those goals, if you're not hitting those metrics or those pain points of that business, your resume is just like a decoration, you know, if you have just certifications and those degrees without showcasing those results.
It depends on what you want to do, right? So I said that I am now interested in doing law. So I don't want to be in litigation. I want to just do contract negotiations. So last panelist, actually, Shanice, she read me the bill yesterday, and she was like, oh, girl, you don't even got to go to law school. You could just get your master's in law, and so you can have that learning. That makes sense, because I'm not going to go to an athlete and be like, yeah, give me a contract. and let me negotiate $1 million deal, and I don't know what the heck I'm talking about or what I'm reading, right? So that makes sense to get that degree and certification if it makes sense to what you are going to go through. But it has to be a balance, I believe, in growing your own skills through experience. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know what this is or what I'm doing, but I'm willing to learn, right, and be a student. Having that and then being in other people's space and networking, yes, who you know, but it's more so who knows you. So using your social media, your content to talk about what you know, your personality, those type of things will lead you into rooms that certain degrees, somebody can have a lot of degrees and certifications and not going to be in the same room as you because you network with somebody and you're willing to outwork them.
I think it depends on your industry. For context, I don't have any certs like at all. But so I think it depends on your industry, honestly. My rule of thumb is I always find a leader on LinkedIn that I like, and I look at their trajectory and I try to find it. There's a CMO of Autodesk, Deidre, I think her name is, and I really admire her work that she's put out there. So I try to follow like her trajectory, how long she stayed in organizations, what type of roles that she takes, and I really like hone in on that. So if there's a leader that you admire and you see that they have like a lot of certs, hey, do some of the things that you've seen them do. Or if they haven't, that's okay too. So that's my rule of thumb.
Cool. So what is one skill that you didn't expect you to need in marketing, but now you can't live without it?
Skill. I know for me, I didn't think that I needed analytics mind. I think that I just didn't tie the two together for marketing. But I think it's two-sided. You have to be able to tell a story. Like, you have to tell a story and you have to turn that story into revenue and you have to combine the two. So I think it's been a lost art already to realize, like, I needed to learn how to storytell and I have to, like, look at the data and turn that data into numbers because that's, how you keep a job, I think. If you can show your leadership and your team that this is what I executed this month and this is how much money we brought in, you'll always be valuable. So I know that has worked for me in the past.
I will say learning how to write. Because I have my degree in PR, I had to take journalism classes. And so when I decided I don't want to pitch to journalists anymore, so I'm going to be leaning more into marketing. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to write that much, cool. But it's actually a great skill to learn how to write an email and do your research on who you're writing that email to and how strong that pitch is going to be because that helps you when you're pitching for sponsorships and partnerships. And who you're wanting to network with.
I would have to say emotional intelligence for sure, because marketing is really psychology, and at the end of the day, if you can't convert someone, then you're really failing in that aspect. So you really have to learn how to read people so that you can convert them in the long run.
So a lot of times what I found in doing marketing, I think Denise said it earlier that you get burnt out without even realizing that you're burnt out. So how have you learned to advocate for yourself without feeling like you're doing too much?
Say no.
No,
in a professional way. I think you have to set boundaries, right? I think we're all trying to set boundaries personally and professionally, but I think it's okay to say no and to prioritize because you will get burnt out. I know last year I had to take a month off because I was burnt out and tired and stressed and not sleeping and I looked terrible. This year I'm practicing saying no and, trying to prioritize what projects matter and what we can finish because people are going to come to you and everything needs to be done right now and that's a lie. That's not true. So let's prioritize and let's figure out what we can do now, what can wait, and what's really important. So saying no, but, in a nice way.
I would definitely agree with that as well. I would also say just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of skills, all that stuff, but doesn't make sense. Even if the money's looking right, how do you say no to that, especially in this economy, right? But you're about to be burnt out. I do not like social media management. I don't tell me when to post. I don't care about your captions whatsoever. So if I'm doing a consultation with somebody and they seem to say like, oh, well, I want this and I want that, and you are like, okay, I can help you with that, and I can do that. However, I will not, because I just know that I am not going to be able to give you 100% that you deserve. And it's not going to be fair to me, and it's not going to be fair to you. If you are somebody who can advocate for yourself, think about it in the way of, I will hurt this other person. If, you know, like, I will hurt this other person if I'm not going to be able to work 100% for you. So, to help you, girl, I'm just not
I love that. I would have to agree with both of you said, because self-advocacy is so important, and you have to learn how to say no, and say no very quickly. No is a full sentence, and get into the habit of not explaining yourself, because you're not aligned with whatever it is that they're wanting to do. The energy is off. And I have learned this the hard way, taking on clients where I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a Black woman that I want to work with, and not everyone is for the culture at the end of the day. And that's something that ends up happening, that you realize there's a lot of people that you may come across that you think that they're for you, or you think that you'll benefit from working with. And I don't care what the bag is, it's just not worth it.
I would also say too, even if you have difficulty saying that, however, I do have someone that I do recommend for that, so you're still helping them along the way.
Absolutely.
Love those answers. So we're talking about advocating for yourself and, you know, all of those things and not burning out with so much social media channels, so many of them. Let's talk about personal branding. How important is it for your career growth, and have you ever felt pressure to keep a certain image online?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I hate social media. Okay, and that's just because I went with you all to, you know, MySpace. I went with you all to Facebook. Went with you all to Instagram. After years of waiting, like, this thing is just gonna fall off. And then I went with you all to TikTok. I'm over it. The next app that comes, just count me out. Okay, I'm starting my YouTube channel. I'm focused on my LinkedIn. I'm focused on where the traction is. You know, wherever my audience is, wherever they're engaging, that's where I'm going to show up and prioritize. No thank you for everything else. I was burnt out years ago trying to follow everybody. No thank you.
Okay, I said I hated social media for social media management, but when I post on my stuff, I know what I like and the vibe that I'm going to give. So, I have always liked content creation. I like being myself. And I always was drawn to professionals who are also showing the balance of being themselves. You're not going to a panel discussion and you're like, well, believe in yourself. No, I want the real deal. Like, you waking up, you going to the club on your YouTube, and you showing the dynamics of helping a client out, right? That's me. So on my IG story with my friends and family who has watched me for how many years, it's like, you're still going to get the Denise that went to Jamaica and was winding herself up. But then my next story is going to be like, oh, hey, here's my client. Go follow them and those type of things. Duality. I grew my TikTok to 10K, over 10K, just off of how my mentality is on how I break down brand strategies and artists and different celebrities and brands and how they do their marketing strategies. How I spoke about it and how I researched is how people was like, oh, I like that. And we started having intellectual debates, not arguments, not going back and forth. If it makes sense, it makes sense. And we're talking like homegirls. I like that. But what I'm not going to do is go and entertain baddies and Bad Boys Club and those type of things. Because I personally don't watch that. But it's like, if I wanted to work with Zeus, I'm going to make content for Zeus. But in the future, I would like to work with Netflix. I would like to work with Google and Amazon and those type of things. So I'm going to position myself and still be me and not code switch. But at the same time, respectively, I know what clients in different rooms I want to be in. So I'm not going to hinder that. So for your building your own brand, be yourself. Tell your jokes. But have a boundaries. If you have a man, you don't want to show him on there, don't show him on there. Cool. But, you know, if you like watching baddies, cool. But if you know that you do not want to be hanging out with Jocelyn and them all the time and you want to get to the big bag and different, then I'll talk about it with my friends in my group chat. I'm not going to talk about it on Twitter. And do all that. Thank you. Exactly. That's how I would say it's important to build your personal brand and still build your own community.
Personal branding. I just took a branding class with Mackenzie actually, and I think that you should be authentic across the board. So who you, for example, like who I am right here is who I am going to be on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. There's not going to be anything that's different, but you know, I'm a very professional, straight shooter type of woman. So I think your brand should be who you are. So like you said, authenticity, and it should be like that across the board, and you know, keep it cute. But I think, you know, your brand should be who you are, whatever that is, whatever that works for you.
I love all of that. So in marketing, or just in society in general, Black women get gaslit. So we just developed this little pesky thing called imposter syndrome. So how do you navigate it, if you have it, because if you don't, please give tips, when trying something new?
All right, so let's get into it. I recently was told this by a client. I could have went with anybody, but I chose you. I spoke with everyone, and I chose you. That was a form of gaslighting me after we had a disagreement upon the payment and the project scope. So what a lot of people will do, especially the people who claim that they're for the culture, they'll see that, you know, you have a nice personality, they'll claim you as family, and then they'll take advantage of you. So really quickly learn how to keep it very business oriented. You know, we can go out, enjoy ourselves, have fun, but when it comes to getting our business done, let's get our business done. Let's keep it within this scope. No, we can't have an extra meeting. I charge this amount for consultations. It's not included in our agreement, and keep it that way. And it's going to get easier as you move along, but sometimes you'll learn the hard way, and I'm only telling you this story because I don't want you all to learn the hard way, but building a relationship with a client and them transitioning to also gaslighting you is one of the most disappointing things, especially when you're looking across the camera on Zoom and they're a Black woman as well. So just learn how to realize and read people and align with people's energies. And listen, I've just realized to take my clients to the altar. Before I even make a decision, I will take my client to the altar and be like, I need my ancestors, I need God, I need us all to figure out, is this person aligned with where I'm trying to go? If they're aligned with my brand, they're aligned with my business, and then moving forward from there. So just be careful out here in these streets, because
You did the prayer. Prayer.
Yeah.
The one prayer. Get them out of here.
Yes.
Okay. I will say that first and foremost, I've heard this a lot of times, but it's so true. You can see someone on a panel or see someone at a bigger stage in life, and please know that everybody do not know everything. There, you will go into a room thinking like, oh, I'm so small, those type of things, and they don't know what they're doing either. You're there for a reason. You guys are here for a reason. We're learning just like you. When I understood that is when I was doing contracts with other marketers or other business. And I'm like, okay, I'm following your lead because I'm such a small, person. And one girl that I did a contract with, it was for NBA All-Star Weekend and then also artists that she has and doing partnerships. And at one point, she was like, oh, you also have PR press clippings. And I was like, yeah, I do. I sent you my portfolio before. And so she's like, I'm having a meeting with this one lady for WNBA, whatever. She's looking for those type of services. Can you send me over your PR, your press clipping so I can give it to her? And I was like, okay, cool. When's this meeting? I would like to join because this is my work. She said, well, I'm having a meeting with her, so it's cool. And I was like, well, are you giving her my press clippings under your business or are you telling her about me? And she's like, oh, it'll be under my company. I said, no, I can't do that now because that's my work that I did. And so then she starts questioning me or making me try to question myself and say, oh, well, I never actually saw any of your press clippings before. And I was like, oh, well, it's there. You can search it up. I can tell you the clients. And I gave you my portfolio as well. You can have some insight on that. But I respectfully cannot give you my press clippings and put it under your company, and you have the meeting with her, and I have no type of credit or say so, no face. I then dissolved that partnership because clearly it's not going to work. But to be confident in myself, to look back at my portfolio and say, I'm not where you at, girl. I don't have the connections that you have, but I've done so much things. And I know for a fact that when I write my pitch and I do my research, I'm going to get somebody to do this partnership and those type of things. I'm going to put in the work. So knowing my work ethic, I cannot belittle myself. And there are going to be so many people at so many different levels, us being Black women in general, where we're going to be questioned and consistently gaslit and say like, oh, well, are you sure? Do you, and stolen from. To be firm, even by our own. I'm sorry to say, but even by our own. To be firm in what you do, to be firm in this is where I'm at because God took me here. I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have asked me to be here if you didn't see something, right? Go back into your old journal entries. Go back into what you did before, your old ideas, and say, oh, that was genius. Okay, take a break, take a moment, pray for yourself. That is how you get out of imposter syndrome. And I want to say also, you will never stop having imposter syndrome. At every level that you get up to, your skills are going to continue to demand more of yourself. So because of that, you're going to put more pressure on yourself. You're going to enter rooms where more people, like I said, are going to question you. You just have to go in and do it afraid. You might have a little quiver in your voice, but you make it make sense at the end of the day. If you walk out and you have a bad meeting, cool, everybody have a bad day. But tomorrow, you go in again and do it again. That's how you just continue to show up, because somebody, a little girl or whatever, is going to want you to show up for her, and she's gonna want to know like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And question herself. Yeah. She needs you.
Experience, I know you said internships, but if you're older or if you were a professional, whether I was a manager, so internships can work, but some people won't even give you that opportunity, right? Because you're already older, you have 5 pages of work that you've done. So.
Great question. I would have to say leveraging your transferable skills. Really leveraging those transferable skills. There's always something that you have done that you're looking to do, whether you realize it or not. Throw that thing in ChatGPT and do it that way. And at least that'll get you brainstorming, even if it's not on the correct, if it doesn't format it the right way. And then just making sure that you are trying to take advantage of different opportunities. When I said internships, you can really create your own role. Seriously, like reach out to those startups who are, desperate and need to grow their business or looking to rebrand or something like that, and offer your support and also show them how you can. And sometimes it's just about watching other people. I really enjoy watching people on YouTube and seeing where they are and how they got to where they are. So sometimes those examples can definitely help, especially with brainstorming and getting, some type of idea.
And our final question.
Oh, yay. Hi, I'm Tiana, y'all. Loved everything y'all said. Y'all really did amazing. I was one of the COVID graduates. Couldn't get a job out of school, so started my own creative agency. I'm like a very big learner. I love learning. So I was very excited to go into a job and learn from experts and learn from these people who have been doing these things for years. And I feel like now I'm like, all right, it's almost 5 years I've been a business owner. I did not go to school to be no business owner. I went to school to, do what I do. But it's like, where's the balance? Because I start to see I probably don't need a job. Like now that I've had my own business for a while, it probably wouldn't work. But yeah, I feel like God don't want me to work for nobody. But because everything is a rejection letter. But every time I get a rejection, 4 clients come through. So that's how I know it's him. But it's like I crave that learning. So what advice would you give for someone like me who's wants to learn, wants that that continuous education? Because I'm like a sponge. So yeah.
Udemy is always having a sale. okay? Take advantage of the online courses, and there's also a lot of programs through your state. You know, reach out and see if they have apprenticeships. That was some way that I was able to pivot into cybersecurity. You know, just Google, research, and try and figure out what programs are available out there, what training is available out there. There's a desperate need for you, I'm sure. Okay, and people are desperate to teach people new things. So you got this.
I will say attending events like this, like you're learning, right? So doing more of this and, you know, putting yourself out there and meeting other people who are in a similar field as you, I think that's really important.
Yeah, I had to come. I'm like, I'm from VA, so when I saw it was in VA, I said, I'm like, I just moved to Philly, so I'm like, oh, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you all.
Yeah.
It'll be quick. Amazon gonna kick us out. As a Black woman in the marketing industry, how have you guys dealt with microaggressions at work, and how have you responded to them?
If y'all don't mind, I think I want to take this one. I live in Mississippi. With the current state, you can imagine, in the Republican state, and I work for a higher education institution. So the first department I was there, I knew what microaggressions were, but I had never experienced them. Microaggressions make you question your sanity. They make you question your skills. They make you question yourself. Keep a wins folder. Keep an accomplishment note sticker. If you gotta be like being Mary Jane and put the stickers all over your house, you know the things. If you did not know, they would have never hired you. They steal from us for a reason. Okay? So the biggest thing is to have a support system, love on yourself, take a month off if you have to, if you can afford it. Take care of yourself. I think the biggest thing I always learn with microaggressions is they are intimidated by you. The intimidation is not your fault. That's their shortcoming. So I would definitely say how to handle microaggressions is build a community, find someone there that you can. I found one of my best friends during that time, still friends to this day, because we were going through the same thing. We're like, is this how it's supposed to be? And then once we really started saying like, oh, but we did this.
It was for funsies. Like, honestly, I'm sure that you got a lot out of the one that you were in. The one that I was in, I feel also would have applied to you.
Really?
Yeah. Because they were talking about being like creative entrepreneurs.
Dang.
Yeah. So it's like,
Hey, what it out? Now you're asking stuff that we didn't.
So y'all, we made it back. We checked into our hotel. It's honestly really, really nice. I really like it. This is our hotel. It's so nice. I'll probably come down here and eat. I didn't bring my computer this trip. Yeah, I didn't bring my computer this trip, but I am going to try to get some work, a little work done. But also just like taking in everything that needs to be taken in. I had a really, really great day. Like, that was a great conference. I believe, like, this is the first conference where I came in there for me, like for Tiana, versus coming in there for like Tiana. So that's a good thing. I'm very excited. I need to find a fork. Let me see. I'm like, do they have forks? They got condoms and everything but a fork. Let me stop. But yeah, it was a good day. When we go back upstairs, we're gonna talk with Ari and we're gonna see what she took away. We didn't go to like any of the same workshops. We like kind of switched it up. So I'm excited to hear like what her thoughts are and like what my thoughts are, and just get a good kiki. They're supposed to have a pajama party at 7, and I think that is so cute. It's like a pajama party bar crawl, so we're gonna go to that. But yeah, we'll tap back in with y'all in a few. Thank you. So nice. People are so nice. I love being back in Virginia. Y'all wanna hear something funny? This girl told me that I gave off like north. Like she was like, "Are you from the north?" I gagged because don't ever. I think the Philly people are rubbing off on me because don't ever think that I'm from the north. But she was like, "It's just your energy. Like your energy is just so great." And I'm like, "Girl, I am so southern. It's not even funny." But I think that it's hilarious that she said I was giving northerner. I was giving northerner. This restaurant is so cute. We're trying to decide if we want to come down here to eat or do we want to like go somewhere. But it's cute. I think I wanted to come and work right here. You can't even see, but like right here. But y'all, we are on the way to the pajama party. And we don't have no pajamas on. Nope. Because I'm so sad. Kelsey gave me some pajamas right before I had moved. And I don't know what's on them. I put them on and it's like a whole freaking stain. But Ari thinks somebody spilled liquor on me.
I do.
But who would do that? Who would do that?
Like on accident.
Oh.
Like, oops.
Well, so good thing that I always pray for my creative friends. Or pray for your creative friends. Shout out Ran, Big Ran. I always keep that on me. And yeah. This is the Amazon headquarters. I didn't tell y'all earlier. But who would have knew?
Ooh, shout out to Matt.
Huh?
You said who would have knew? I said, shout out.
Oh, yeah! Yes, who would have knew? You're right. Who would have knew? Who would have knew? Nah, fact. Okay, I think, is this the place? This the first place?
This is the second place. They're across the street right now. And I was like,
Oh.
They'll be here shortly, I'm sure.
It's called the what? Zuki.
Yuzu.
I said Zuki. I said I said Zuki. She said, what is it? Yuzu. But we're gonna try it.
Yuzu lemon drop martini.
Damn. We could have sat right here. It's okay.
I mean, if they're about to leave, yeah.
Let's try. It's really good. That's the one. It has like a hint of like peppermint or something. Oh. It tastes like peppermint.
It uses the citrus, though. That's not it. I mean, it is very refreshing.
You don't taste that?
That is just the way it tastes.
Oh.
It's like, to me, it tastes like a lemon and an orange had a baby. That's what it tastes like.
A lemon and an orange and some double mint gum.
Okay.
Like, y'all, I can't believe we really was in Amazon headquarters today. But look at this. I feel like this is us manifesting a job here.
Oh, I don't want to work. I'm too bad for that. Like, pay me a little $300 an hour.
Right, like, I just want to be able to work in the space. Can I just work in the space?
I will manage the influencer program like it's no other.
I was going to ask you about that too. Like, does that ever get, like, hard for you? Y'all, we just, had a good little jump. No, let me stop. But we are just chilling, talking. I love that. She was one of the speakers on one of the panels that I saw, and we just started yapping and talking, and she came and sat with me and Ari while we was drinking our little drinks, and yeah, y'all saw. I love that. Like, she's very cool, really, really cool. She's also awesome. And yeah, We're just chilling. It's windy. Trying to decide if we're gonna go back into the hotel or go back somewhere else. This is what I have on. Like, this is not, you know. But yeah, this is such a cute little park. It's giving vibe. Like, I like it. But yeah, I will probably see y'all later tomorrow. Day 2 of the conference. We're going home tomorrow as well. So I'm very, very happy that we came. And I think it was very, very beneficial for us. So we're going to talk about all that later too. But just want to say good night. Bye. Love you.